Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail Series. Today, we traveled to the far north to visit Bearhead Lake State Park. While out this far north and on a trail in a state park named after bears, it's important to remember basic bear safety tips. If you see a bear, do not approach it. I typically carry a bear spray on me for hikes like this, although that's an absolute last resort because at that point you're already engaged with a bear. What I always do if I'm out on a trail like this is every so often I'll clear my throat or make a loud coughing sound. This is how I take the recommendation to make noise on the trail so you don't surprise a bear. I like to think it's the reason I've never run into a bear on the trail. Also, it's important to make sure you don't leave food out when in a park or leave it where bears can smell it. I once knew someone who left s'more supplies in their tent while camping, and luckily, it wasn't a bear that came for the food. It was what I can only describe as an extraction specialist squad of raccoons who managed to tear a marshmallow bag-sized hole and pull the food through. They learned the hard way, but at least it was just a sliced tent and nobody was injured. It could have been much worse had it been a bear. Bearhead Lake State Park came into creation in 1961. And after its establishment, no time was wasted on development of the park, with a road and campground being constructed within 6 months. Its location in the secluded northwoods likely hastened its development, that and its proximity to Ely, making it secluded but near a vacation area within the state. The park encompasses the 674-acre Bearhead Lake. The wildlife in the park is typical of other northern parks, particularly those along the northern shore. It includes white-tailed deer, black bear, moose, timber wolves, red squirrels, chipmunks, and snowshoe hares. For the bird watchers, it also includes red-breasted nuthatches, pine grosbeaks, red crossbills, boreal chickadees, and of course, the majestic bald eagle. The geology of the park is, as much of Minnesota is, shaped by glacial action. Specifically, they scoured and gouged the Ely Greenstone, Giants Range granite on the way to cutting out Eagle's Nest and Bearhead Lakes, leaving behind the rolling hills that permeate the park. The woods are made up of red and white pine, black spruce, paper birch, tamarack, and white cedar throughout the different biomes in the park. The terrain is rugged and in spots rocky, but it's the same type of terrain that attracts so many visitors to the nearby Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. It could serve as an option for those not quite adventurous enough to go on a multi-day canoe camping trip, but still want a taste of the wilderness that such a trip might provide. The State Park Trail starts out at the trail center near the beach. A mid-length trail in the hiking trail series, this trail checks in at about 3 miles in length and took us about an hour and 20 minutes to complete. The trail starts out to the left of the trail center across the beach area. The trail then splits, and you can either head straight or head off to the right. We took the path straight ahead, as it kind of runs parallel to the entry road, but although you'll occasionally hear a car passing by, it's not disruptive at all. It's a decently wide trail that did have a little higher grass, but nothing too ridiculous. There was a good amount of people out during the hike in later August when we took the trail. The trail then turns right, still running parallel to the road for a time. This segment is particularly rocky and rooted. It slowed us a bit compared to the rest of the trail just to avoid spraining an ankle or tripping. It starts getting really rocky around where you would start the trail if you parked at the ranger office, until around where you join the trail leading out to Norbert Lake. The middle of the hike is really just walking down the group camp road, but as it's restricted to group traffic only, it shouldn't have a ton of cars. It turns off the road back to a normal trail right before the lake. Now, looking at the map, you might expect that there would be some lake views on this section of the trail, but the trail stays back up on a hill, and during late summer, there was significant underbrush that obscured most of the views to the lake. There are a few narrow, overgrown trails that may have led to some lake views, but they would have resulted in a lot more rubbing up against the underbrush than I was looking to do. My favorite part of the trail was just about halfway through the back corner of the trail, where there's a bench that overlooks Norbert Lake. I love forest ponds, and this one reminds me of several of the alpine lakes I've seen before, and it has that same isolated feeling, but without the significant hike to get to it. There was also a lower place to look out over the water, but I like the higher spot because the view peered through the pine trees, and that just kind of added a special serenity to it. My little hiker took a drink of his water and paused a moment before commenting on just how beautiful it was up here. So, beautiful forest lake and an adorable family moment? Yeah, that's gonna take the cake for me every time. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons. Also, don't forget to let us know which state park trail you'd like to see next.